when he jumped back to the window, easily jumped to the window because he's 5'1". He slams the window behind him, and Brayden jumps right up, yelling at him because he slammed it so hard he shattered the window. But you can see Tony now sees the man with dark red eyes 6 feet chasing him. But the thing is, now he's purple, like his skin is purple. And Brayden's freaking out because he can't see him. So Brayden immediately gets on his phone and calls the cops. And they his mother, Brayden, and Tony all get locked in the room until the cops come in. The cops come, they check, they don't see anything. They even check the basement. What they forgot to check was the attic. So they want to check on it themselves. So they go up, and they see nothing, but they realize that they've never been in the attic before, and they've lived there for 5 years. So they go through a bunch of boxes, and they see, and Tony goes through one called Family on it. So, and he sees a portrait, and he sees a family photo, and instead of a kid's face, it was an exact same man with the exact same red eyes. So Tony jumps up and screams. And then, right behind them, the door closes from the attic. So they're stuck in this attic. Tony then realizes that the chimney could be accessed by the attic. So they climb up by Brayden stands on his mother's shoulders and Tony stands on his shoulders. So Tony's the only one out. And then he realizes that they're trapped because there's 20 of those men surrounding the house. Connor, it's your turn.
Part 7. So, when Tony realizes that there's 20 people surrounding the house with the exact same face, Tony and his cousin and his cousin's mom were very scared, and the only thing they had to defend themselves was this hammer that was rusty and old that they found in the attic. So obviously the mom with the most maturity picks it up and says, "Hey boys, get back," because they were gonna storm the place because they were trapped. But suddenly they found, well, when Tony was backing up to get out of the way, he stumbled upon a box. The box with the stuff in it. The stuff, as I mean, he found a gun. It was loaded with ammo rounds. So the mom hands Tony the hammer, and she grabs the gun, reloads it, and cocks it back. They were waiting until they came. They heard a noise at the front door. It was a loud bang. And when they walked in, it was like hearing demons go inside and out of both of their ears. So at that point, they knew that they were demons. And the only way that they were gonna get out was if they had to let one person go. Because they had to have 2 people make one person climb up to get in the chimney and out. So obviously, actually I'm gonna leave it off there. Part 8. You, right, Maple. Yeah, and there's only gonna be 2 survivors and there has to be one that stays behind. Yeah.
Alright, is it my turn?
No, that was good.
Part 9. So, Brayden's mother goes to Home Depot for 3 hours. So, they all of everyone. No, everyone in. Yeah, she goes completely shopping. So, everyone in the party, Connor, Maple, me, and then Brayden and Tony, we all get on GTA. So we're just screwing around, just trying to have fun, we're laughing. And then someone joins named I'm in your attic. And it's a purple guy with red eyes. And he won't. messages Connor. He says, "Better not tell Tony or Braden that I'm right behind them." So Connor gets really frightened, but he gets really nervous and screams at them that there's someone behind them. So they turn around and he's not there. Though they just think he's playing a game or joking, and they don't find it funny because they think they could have died or something. But what they don't realize is that there's a purple hand trying to touch them from the ceiling. So they scream, they get off the mic, and they run out of the house. Well, Braden's mother just got home from shopping. And she thinks that they're just, maybe everything was just like a bad dream or something. And maybe they all had it. So she finds them screaming out of the house. So she decides to run too because she knows that they're not playing around. So they get back in the car and they drive to Tony's house, back to Tony's house. They open the door and they think they might be safe there. They hear his grandpa say, "Hello, who's there?" And Braden's mother says, "It's us. We need to stay for a little bit." So they talk about what happened. And then Tony's grandpa won't stop looking at Tony. And Tony's being distracted by that. So Tony looks away for a little bit, trying to get his mind cleared, and, paying attention to Braden's mother that's talking, telling his grandpa what happened. But when he looks back, he realizes that his grandpa's hands are turning purple. He leans over and whispers to Braden that I think he might have something to do with it. So they are excused from the table and go to play, and they're gonna have a plan of breaking out if he turns purple anymore. So just to not act suspicious, they get on PlayStation and start playing again. And no one joins GTA or anything. But when they hear a knock on Tony's door, it's his cousin. And his cousin asks what happened because he heard them talking downstairs. And he explains what happened. And his cousin said, "I had a familiar dream about a purple guy with red eyes." And they all get a little freaked out by that. So it's nighttime. They go back to Braden's house, but Tony stays at his house. So Tony and Braden are texting, just saying I can't believe that happened. And it's that he wants to go to bed early. Tony wants to go to bed early, so he goes to bed at 11:30. So, but at around 3 a.m., he hears his grandpa screaming. So Tony wakes up knowing something's about to go down or something. So he runs, but he grabs a broken bottle that's on his drawer. To be continued.
Whew, that was a good one. I like that one a lot. Okay. Part 10. So, when Tony heard the screaming, his grandpa screaming, he grabs the glass bottle from his drawer. His cousin also hears it. So his cousin comes out, acting really confused because it was the middle of the night at 3 a.m. When Tony and his cousin go down the stairs, they were looking everywhere for him, but they couldn't find him anywhere. So they went back upstairs, very confused. They went back to bed, assuming that he was just having a nightmare. And they go to sleep. But at 5 a.m., he hears footsteps loud footsteps. His cousin's fast asleep, so he can't hear anything. But Tony just got done watching TikToks. Tony assumes that his grandpa was just going to go pee in his bathroom. But then, when the footstep stops, he hears it right by his door. His grandpa knocks on his door, but the knock was harder than he anticipated because it was at night. It was very loud, and he knows that his grandpa couldn't do that because he's weak, and he's like 77 years old, and he's very young, old. So he's very, very confused. So he just hides under his blanket. Like, Tony's grandpa opens the door. Tony sees red eyes under the sheets because his blankets are like translucent and they can see. Sees bright red eyes. So he's assuming that he's one of the creatures. So when Tony's grandpa goes to walk over to him, his grandpa touches his leg, and the whole blanket turns purple, and then he wakes up from his dream, because he wakes up from his dream at 10 a.m. because he got so scared. So he rushes downstairs to see what his grandpa was doing. And when he got there, his grandpa was on the floor. Fuming from his mouth. There's a bunch of white things. And he was foaming from the mouth, is what I meant to say.
You gotta say no homo.
No homo. He was foaming from the mouth. And when he got there, he went to touch him and try to give him CPR because he thought he ate something and couldn't spit it back out because it was too big. But turns out that his two dogs had rabies, and they attacked him thinking that he was an intruder because they had rabies. And the rabies kicked in, and his grandpa got rushed to the hospital from his cousin. And it was a procedure that happened for like 4 hours, doing blood work, trying to help it, but they couldn't. And his grandpa sadly passed away. And part 11. Your turn.
Alright.
Dude, I literally grabbed a sandwich and a drink.
Wait, how did it end off? Okay. Alright. So, after he gets that text, after Connor gets that text of him himself through a window, the purple man now says, "Now you have to do things for me, or your friends become mine." So we all agree, just because we don't want to lose them. And his first task is we have to get him each piece of our clothing, but like an old, like a baby clothing. So we all agree. So we all decide to meet up in the parking lot, and we are told to drop it off and not meet him. So we do, and then he thanks us for complying. And he said he'll give us another quest the next day. So we all go to bed, and Tony's still at Braden's. So now that everyone's going to sleep, Tony wakes up from his grandpa talking, and he says, "Hey Tony, you wanted Danimal." And as soon as he said Danimal, purple man yanks his grandpa all the way back, and the purple man enters his room, and he said, "Your friends kept you safe for today, but tomorrow might be different." And then he leaves. He just like disappears into thin air. So the next, yeah, for just purple mist. So the next day we all wake up. It's around 2 p.m. He says, and then Tony, and then Maple gets a text from the purple man privately, like a private DM saying, "I'm not going to respond to that text till he complies." So Maple leaves Tony on red. So Connor decides to go fishing one day. So Connor decides to go fishing because he likes to do that. So he's at his favorite pond or lake,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets a bite on his reel. So he gets all excited, but he realizes it's really heavy. So he asks his bigger brother Mitchell for help, and Mitchell gets really close to dragging in the fish until he realizes that he sees purple in the water when he gets closer. So Connor yells at Mitchell to let go of the fishing rod. So, and Mitchell is yelling at him because it's his freaking rod. So Connor grabs it out of Mitchell's hand and throws it into the water, and they start running to the car. So they get home, and then Connor realizes he got a text about a minute ago from the purple man saying, "That was a close one, LOL," with a smiley face. To be continued.
Alright.
Connor.
Alright, so this is about me, apparently, so... Plot twist, Okay, so what part is this? Wait, what's the part? What's part? What's the part? Is it part 13?
Yeah, it's part 13.
Alright, part 13. So, when Connor got back home, he checked on his phone and he seen a message alert that happened 1 minute ago. He doesn't check it because he knows what would happen if he checked it. So Connor leaves it undelivered for 2 hours, thinking everything will be okay if he doesn't open it. But it auto opens. It forcefully opens, and it says, "I'll get you tomorrow." But the text was from Tony's grandpa, the one who was dead. And then Connor gets on his game and texts Tony on PS4 because he was on at the time. Text Tony, "Hey, does your grandpa still have his phone, or did it break, or did you sell it?" And Tony says he didn't have a phone. And that's when Connor got confused and said, it's his number, because when he had a phone, it broke and it has his number on it. And Tony says, "But that phone was 2 years old and it broke 5 months ago." So me and Tony were getting very suspicious about it, and we asked him, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm the Purple Man," and blocks him from all social media. And he can't get a hold of the number anymore. He says it's blocked. And then when Tony realizes what happens, Connor goes into panic mode. And he says, "Oh, I don't want a Purple Man to come and get me." So then Connor gives his phone to Tony, puts it under his bed when he was there. So Tony is getting a message from his phone now, and it's his number. And then his grandpa, well, he's not sure if it's his grandpa, but he hears a knock on the door. Keep in mind it's like 12 a.m. at night. It's all night. Cousins partying. It's just him alone. And Tony does not go to get it. So he forces his way in. And when he forces his way in, Tony gets very scared and hides in his closet. So he doesn't find him, because the Purple Man would think he was under his sheets, but he isn't. So Tony hears steps coming up his stairs, and it stops. And when it opens the door, he realizes. Alright, part 14. So, because a man thinking it would be his grandpa, because his number was just texted on his phone, thinking it would be his grandpa, but not sure it could be a purple man, hears footsteps up to his door. It stops. Tony gets very frightened and tries to lock it and goes back to the closet.
Hang on, can we just be appreciative that this all came from stealing a Danimal?
Okay. And then when he went back to his closet when he locked the door, but it's forcefully making itself in, so it slams on the door 2 times as hard as it could. And when it opened, Tony realized when he peeped through the closet window thing, it was. Now it's your turn. He's at his house. He's still at his house. And his cousin is not home. He's partying. Yeah.
I say, what's up, dog?
So, part 15. Yeah. Yay. Alright, Joe, come on. Open shot. Alright, Joe, your turn.
Alright, sorry, I'm my mic died.
Yeah, part 15. Part 15. 15.
Alright, so part 15. So, Mabel complies and he goes into the field at 3 a.m. His family. The rest of his family is asleep, so he sneaks out through his window. He walks into the forest, field, and he waits. So he starts a live video chat when he invites us, and we all join. And then, alright, so yeah. So, he starts it, and then, after 5 minutes, he hears a tree snap, or a twig snap. So, he starts running, and then he can hear footsteps behind him. Luckily, he was faster than him. He manages to escape and gets a text from the purple guy saying, "Congratulations, I guess you were running faster. Or you were a fast runner." So, they complete the task. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my thing is being quiet. So, everyone's happy that no one had to die. So, we all go back to bed, and then maybe at around 6 a.m. hears something knock at his window. He doesn't even want to get up because he's too scared, so he doesn't. And luckily, nothing goes inside, so he falls back asleep. But he has a nightmare, and it's the purple guy. He said, "You should have opened that window." So he wakes up and his heart's pounding really fast, and he realizes he's sleep paralysis. And he sees his window slide open just a little bit, and he can see the red eyes through his window. But he realizes it's not the purple guy; it's one of his family members. And then the actual purple guy opens the door just a little bit, and they're revealing his arms. Okay, so he gets really afraid, but his heart's pounding super fast, but he can't scream or he can't move. Luckily, he gets out of it. I'm lagging. Hi.
Can you also talk a little bit louder?
Alright. Alright. Is this good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, Maple, knowing that he can move and talk now, yells out for his mother. But like more than one cop car comes just like to like check and stay there for the night, just to make sure nothing happens. So he wakes up and like everything's okay, like everything's perfectly fine, like it's a normal day, everything's normal. And it's like that for like everyone for like 2 days. So they think something like Maple going is at the like they saved us, but suddenly Connor gets a knock on his door, and Mitchell and Nathaniel went for a party, so they thought it was just him trying to get back because they locked the door. So they open it and they realize that it's me, it's Maple. He came all the way up. And the reason why he's there is because his mother took him there because after everything was normal for a while, yes, something happened and all the internet crashed and they couldn't, so they had to, and they couldn't text him, so they ran up there. They ran up. So he asked to crash for the night, and he complied. He said, yeah, and his parents were cool with it. Just thinking, like, it's like a friend from school. They never told him about anything. So they're like, okay, yeah, you can just make sure. So it's at the dinner table that Connor and Maple are looking at each other, and they're kind of like they're nervous. They're like shaking and everything. But Connor grabs his drink, and it's in a glass. It's in a glass cup, and in the reflection, you can see the red eyes. So he turns around, not trying to like disturb anyone, like making sure like he's just like checking to see like maybe like a light's on or something. But it's not there. But Maple realizes that probably something's wrong, and he can see it. So Maple, like not knowing the freak, he gets on his phone and he texts Connor all the way just from the table. He's saying, bro, I see those red eyes, do you? And he said, I saw it in my glass cup, but I don't see it anymore. Is it still there? And he said, yes. So Connor loses his appetite, but Maple, being he drove probably around like 6 hours, he's really hungry, and he eats all of his food. When he's done, he goes back to his room, and Connor gets a text, or Mitchell gets a text, and he's saying, make sure your brother's safe. And so he goes in, and he originally talks to Nathaniel, saying, bro, are you okay and everything? And he said, bro, what are you talking about? Are you high or something? And then he goes over to Connor, and he said, bro, are you okay? And he's like, bro, what are you talking about? He's kind of confused, like he's like concerned at this point because he might know or something. So he confesses to Mitchell, and he wants to call cops and everything, but he gets a text from the purple guy saying, you can't do that, or what the fuck. Like, alright, I'm gonna have to end it here. I have to get off. My mom's freaking spamming my phone.
Alright, wait. You guys want to continue this tomorrow?
Alright, yeah. It's Mitchell gets a phone saying...
Wait, hold on. Let me write this down, actually. So we don't mess it up. Wait, does anybody have notes?
Yeah, I have notes on my phone.
Here, write it down. Write it down.
What do you want me to say? What do you want to put down?
What was the ending? Just do the ending, and then we'll end it off here. Cause wasn't it part 17?
Yeah, we're on part 17.
So it's gonna be my turn next.
Alright, I gotta go rest.
Alright, peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out. I'm gonna go to Maple. Whenever both of us are on. Alright, peace out, man. Peace out, lol. Good night, child. Okay. That was a very unique stream. Like it, subscribe, and yeah, I'm very tired. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.